Well, so the ultra terrestrials, I'll just tell you. The ultra terrestrials, I think, have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is? They're us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me. They're from here, from the future.
What's happening here, and do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left the meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff, but we're going to be hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, if you whatever you want to call it, but some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next
all missing or dead, and the government still has no answers. People who know the most classified secrets in America are disappearing.
P-47 is present plus 47,000 years. P-52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future. It wipes out most of like everything, man. And there's the ones that go underground and survive, right? And then there's the ones that somehow stay on the surface and miraculously don't die.
Can we all stop pretending like this is normal? Like scientists and people involved in secret programs going missing, being killed, and like this is not normal. It's not normal. I am inclined to believe at this rate that every waking UFOlogy, the history of this stuff has always been us. Arizona Lights, Roswell, the Foo Fighters. If you feed into the theory of what she's saying about the P-24s and that blah, 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 it would make sense that orbs were showing up and watching dogfights in World War II like it's like a live stream. This Amy Eskridge would go on a podcast in 2020, and she has now been added to the list of scientists that are no longer with us anymore. Listen to what she says here.
Huntsville, Alabama is the biggest fucking deal that you've never heard of. It's the biggest fucking deal that you have never heard of. Because the fact is that we have deep and wide, extensive credibility that no one knows about because you're not supposed to know about it. Because it's in Alabama, it's obscure. You're not supposed to know about it. Silicon Valley of government national security technology and intelligence community technology and aerospace technology. Huntsville is like the hub. Like we are number 3 on the first strike launch list. If first strike happens, 3 targets, Huntsville will be one of them. Alabama. This is Alabama, dude, in the deep south. We're in the top 3 first strike. We're in the top 3 first strike because you haven't heard of us.
Discovered anti-gravity, quote, and our lives went to shit. People started sabotaging us. It's harassment, threats, and it's awful, end quote. She did not stop here, though. She said that the UFOs that everyone is seeing on videotapes and even in person, they're us from the future. Future humans, ultra terrestrials.
So the ultra terrestrials, I'll just tell you. The ultra terrestrials, I think, have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is? They're us from the future.
Time travelers watching and interfering with our timeline. Amy founded the Institute of Exotic Science for one reason, to fully go public for her breakthrough.
I started the Institute for one reason. One reason, the Institute. I started it as a public-facing persona to disclose anti-gravity technology through, because I told Mark this. If you stick your neck out in public, at least someone notices if your head gets chopped off.
Because she believed going dark would get her killed quietly. She described direct energy attacks that burned her body.
Computer right here for the past several days, with this window right here to my right, and that window door right there to my left. And I've been, my hands have been burned to hell and back as I've been typing. Because you can beam me through there and through there, and you can get a 3D image of what I'm typing.
Constant surveillance, break-ins, and warnings from officials to shut it all down. And on June 11, 2022, Amy Eskridge was found dead in her home. Official ruling, well, you know, the Epstein way. Her story just became the 11th name on a growing list of scientists, like we just said, tied to exotic propulsion and UAP tech, who've died or vanished under suspicious circumstances. The question is, did she get too close to the truth? Why trying to disclose anti-gravity and future human technology is a death sentence, I have no clue. I had to read these shit like grandpa. I'll read them like this. I'll take glasses. I can't see shit in the house. I'm gonna need for everyone to stop pretending like people going missing from secret government programs isn't just it's common, right? I mean, this is what happens. You work your ass off, you go to college, you got some bright ideas, you develop some technology, and then you go to a different company or you start a company and then you go missing. And then you realize soon that it's not about aliens. It's all about the knowledge of the technology. That's what they don't want. All of these scientists and military experts that were involved in these secret programs, many of them appeared to be going to different places. And then as soon as they went to their different company, they just disappeared 15 feet in front of their husband while walking on a nature trail. That sounds like missing 411 with Dave Paulides. That's what it sounds like to me. And if you listen to Dave Paulides, people have been going missing in these national parks in strange circumstances for decades. Decades. This is something that occurs in our country on the regular. But Amy Eskridge's text messages that we're fixing to read gives you a little insight to the fear, the threats, what us normal humans like me and many million people viewing this, millions of whoever views this, all you Americans, just normal people going to work, children. And then there's people in our country that are like hiding in their houses from direct energy heat waves that are burning their hands. Guys, this is crazy. This is wild. Let's read the text messages. The text messages start off, it says, FYI, I have been getting death threats every day repeatedly for the past week or so for my recent work. And her recent work was, defying gravity. Like I finally crossed some line with my own independent development theory and it got surveilled. It tipped me over onto some effed up kill list. I left myself a note. She says I left myself a voice note on my hack phone about some super heavy shit that I figured out. And then daily threats immediately started rolling in. The past week has been absolutely horrible. I do not even know how to explain it. The most heinous death threats you can imagine. I've been telling people closest to me over the past few days, I obviously did not blink myself. No matter what you heard, I have told so many people over the past week, it is simply impossible to take them all out. And she says, it was ... everything ... that Bob Lazar said in technical sense in the Corbell documentary was 100% backwards. Bob Lazar was at S4 working with this element 115. And this element 115, I guess he said was fuel that helped this thing go, like an antimatter, right? But she says it's 100% backwards. So I don't know. She says I was thinking about it and left myself a voice note about it on my phone while driving home and it got surveilled. And now I am dead meat. It's really bad. I got myself on a kill list by leaving myself a surveillable note on my own personal phone about the actual role of element 115. That's crazy, guys. So like So is Bob Lazar just alive because he's been wrong about element 115? I have never been so scared in my life, she says. I did not blink myself. Consulting with Bill and the other retired general I've been working with, they both agreed that the threats are not coming from any government threats, are most likely coming from private entities with a whole lot of cash who has hired some domestic mercenary goons to harass me to death. It's like the American version of the Wagner Group is on my ass right now. It is really bad. Guys, this is crazy. Like and like this is what I've said about like Charlie Kirk. Like I don't think Charlie Kirk, I don't think our president, John F. Kennedy, I don't even think obviously like every assassination occurs from someone within your own government. Let's continue on. She goes on to say most likely the same a-holes who have effed you over real hard many times for years, not Russia, not China, not the USG. Most likely US domestic contractors have been effing with us the whole time. Probably the same people who effed you up, probably the same people who effed you up in Hawaii. More motivated by whether you/my IP eats their lunch for their multi-billion-dollar contracts versus being motivated by national security concerns. She goes on to say, pretty sure most of this shite this whole time that we've dealt with has been driven by private money from contractors. And she goes on to say it's bad. How do you call the FBI and get them to investigate Lockheed, Northrop, or Blackwater? You can't. Literally, you can't. She goes on to say, it would be better for all of us if she goes on to say, it would be better for us if it was Russia the entire time. The contractors, not good. I did not blink myself, no matter what you hear. She said this like in like almost every paragraph, guys. And she is dead now. Think about that. She goes on to say, Bob had it right. McCandlish's fatal mistake was that he did not tell anyone that he was under threat. And it appears that she's talking about Mark McCandlish, was an American aerospace illustrator and conceptual artist who gained prominence in the UFO community for his claims of his knowledge regarding secret government programs involving reverse-engineered extraterrestrial technology. He was particularly known for his detailed technical illustrations of what he called the Alien Reproduction Vehicle, ARV, or a flux liner, which he claimed represented an advanced anti-gravity propulsion system developed from recovered UFO technology. And I'm telling you guys, this technology is we're not stealing this stuff. This stuff has been given to us. This stuff has been found. And according to Stephen Greer, there is a very large ship lodged in the side of a mountain in Korea. And we're actively, I don't know if we're in it. I don't know. Guys, this stuff is old. This stuff comes, in my opinion, from the pre-flood times, during the time of the Nephilim. That's what I think. I think this is the time of the Nephilim's technology. The technology that was probably moved out the way by some big waves sent by the big man upstairs. God, he spite them. Continue on, guys. She goes on to say, I did not blink myself in the head with my own firearm. I did not overdose on prescription meds. I did not drive off a cliff. It's insane you have to say that. Like, even all the way back to the pain rays that we both experienced. Oh my God, not a foreign nation state, not USG. She says the contractors, private contractors hiring other private contractors to pain ray or harass you to death. Not a national security concern, but to eliminate or disable potential competition for their multi-billion-dollar contracts. Who gives them the contracts? Okay, then. All of this harassment we've experienced is just about the money. It's not a very good scenario. She goes on to say, this is your pain. And then it has a little redaction. Talk about it. I tell you for your blank lesson, learn here is that it requires line of sight through the window. What she's talking about is the direct energy weapon. It has to have a direct line of sight, either from like a computer monitor or like from a street light or light in your house. You can spare yourself a lot of pain and trouble by covering your windows. She goes on to say, next time you feel the pain ray, just run to your nearest street side facing window, take pics of the vehicle you see in the line of sight of your window. Get license plates if you can. They have been doing this to both of us for a long time. Cover your windows. She goes on to say, I'm not talking about this publicly at all. I believe it is currently being investigated low key. Keep it to yourself. I tell you only because they have damn near killed both of us. This is where she shows a photo of what she believes is the actual ray, the direct energy weapon coming through the window. Like you can see like little fog, and reportedly she says that it melted the blinds and stained like an image of her hand on the table, like a nuke, and it burned. This is I don't even know. She goes on to say, was sitting at the coffee table typing on my computer at my friend's house when it happened. And then here goes the picture. White blur on the window lined up perfectly with, and taken out. She goes, and that's her hands right there. And I'll show you a little video right here of her hands when this is actually right after. She goes on to say, looks like red gloves. Burned the crap out of them 6 weeks ago while we were writing this biothreat proposal for DHS for the NY subway system, same project. At my friend's house, who has the biothreat tech. So she's at the friend's house with the biothreat tech. This is crazy. She goes on to say, thought I had a weird rash on my hand until I noticed the damn blank on the window pane a few days ago. I never would have known they were radiation burns if they hadn't accidentally vaporized the window blinds. You deserve to know they are seriously injuring us. She goes on to show another picture here, and it says, docs can try to tell me that this is just dry skin, except for why there are perfect x-ray images on my effing hand embolized on the window pane during the same time span. How does my dry skin or known PTSD diagnosis somehow magically embolize perfect image on my upper body on a window? Oh, this is crazy. Deleted and responded just to fix the retarded typos. Yeah, these text messages got to be real. That's like something. Yeah. The person responds and says, "Yikes! O-meter high for both of us." She goes on to say, the DEW, the direct energy weapon used against civilians, is currently being covered up super hard, including docs telling you that you're just plain wrong and referring you to psychiatric instead of treating your very obviously real physical symptoms. And then I believe this is the Havana syndrome. I believe this is the effects of this. He responds and says, yes, my hands bleed right after this recent attack. March 15, 2022. This is in March of 2022. And this is right after the text message where she says she deleted the typos. She goes on to say, dude, we discovered this image on my hand on the window, lined up perfectly with where I was sitting and typing. Burns on my hand lined up perfectly with the edge of the coffee table. It was so absurd and horrifying that we could not even fully mentally process it at first. It was so absurd and mortifying that it became morbidly hilarious and we literally laughed our effing asses off for days and days before we realized how serious it actually was. It was so effing absurd, we just laughed and laughed and laughed and could not even process it, man. Guys, could you imagine sitting in your home trying to possibly disclose, and at the time this was going on, I believe she was, all online going crazy, saying wild things like you saw at the beginning of the video. So she's just, this is crazy. Person responds, oh man. She goes, suffer in silence. Sure, suffer is a pretty good tactic right now. Do not make a big deal about it in public or people you trust. If you have had hands and feet currently fried to a crisp, dude, this window plane evidence is all you need to tell you to cover your effing windows. It requires a line of sight, even 18 stories up, where the power towers in relation to your window, question mark. Where are the outside fixtures or street lamps in relation to your window, question mark. It's not a satellite. It's a local RF weapon. Local, she says, requires a line of sight. Cover your windows. So I guess that, I believe this is insinuating that like there's someone manually doing this. Like they pull up, they got the equipment, and then I guess they hook up. I don't know. She goes on right here talking about her friend and her ex-CIA buddy, where she's talking about these weapons. She says, even this evening, I received a message saying that they were looking right at my best friend, that she was right in front of them. A little over an hour later, I received a text from her. She had just gone to dinner with a friend and made a point of making sure her car was locked because she was aware of this stuff going on. She came back to her car and found it unlocked. May 26, Amy Eskridge sent the following message at 1:55 a.m. I don't know. This most likely culprit, according to both my ex-CIA guy and the retired general I work with who ran counterterrorism for Stratcom. So they are coming from experience with these types of issues. They are familiar with the technical details of my work, and they personally know me. They both think that this is private industry sources who has hired contractors to follow me around and harass me, and they have left a trail of breadcrumbs to make them think that it's Russia. They've left a trail of breadcrumbs to make me think it's Russia. Why does it always gotta be Russia, dude? Jesus Christ. That's their assessment. That is their assessment. It's really not good over here right now, she says. Amy Eskridge at 2:11 a.m. She says, I explained the recent events to my ex-CIA weapons guy. Whiteboard briefed him on most recent work and flipped him through my most recent technical notebook pages. He stared down at the page for a long time, then looked back up at me and was like, well, this is definitely why. Makes perfect sense to me. Well worth the budget for the right entity. Then he told me to not let the notebook out of my sight because there's obviously a decent budget behind following me around and looking for an opportunity to swipe it. I was like, yeah, no. She basically says, yeah, no. I've only been screaming this from the top of the mountains. Man, this is crazy. This is wild. This is the part about Israel. Like this is what gets me. And this text message is right here where I want to bring up the little Israeli part. She goes to the dentist, and the dentist is like, "Oh, you work at a company in Haifa, Israel? Oh my God!" And she's like, "No, I don't work in Haifa, Israel." And come to find out, somebody went into her like medical form for her company and changed her dental and went to her dental plan and changed the company to some technical company in Israel. I mean, that's a very Israeli Mossad thing to do. I ain't got no problem. Don't come at me with no there ain't no antiseptic shit going on here. All right? I like everybody. I'll just pick on you individually. Listen, Bibi Netanyahu is a great wartime. If you want to just bomb some shit, call Bibi. Bibi, that's Bibi thing to do it. He will do it. But this is crazy that this is even in these text messages, that she's noticing that Israel's popping up. Of course they are. Of course. I just want to end the video by saying I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't think anybody does. There's a lot of research and people putting in a lot of work on this that you can go and source on X, independent, Substacks. This is not normal. Amy Eskridge created her business solely so that she could whistleblow. Her father worked in Huntsville, Georgia, in these programs. He was one of the 5 people who created antigravitic or non-propulsion technology. And these text messages and everything combined, it's like, how is this not a national security concern? And they try to blame it on Russia and China. Come on, guys. But that's the end of the video. I'm DJ Rose UN, and on to the next one. Do me a favor, go and watch some other videos I got. I got all kinds of videos. Do a little hot shot. All kinds of videos. I got all kinds. History, aliens. Sometimes I just do some bulls. I just get on here and make fun of people. But go ahead and subscribe, like, and follow, and I am out.